Welcome to the Tuesday weekend. Today we are talking about good coworkers and what it is to be a coworker, some fond memories of the excellent ones we have worked for in the past, and some little hints and tips if you want to be a better coworker. With me as always, Nick Parkin. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I just had a unexpected graveyard shift and my body doesn't even know what time it is right now, so we're just
I'm, I'm
moving on.
I'm surprised you didn't know that this is the most called in sick day of the
Oh
year
geez.
every year,
Yeah.
day after the
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Um,
I mean, honestly, pull out your Instagram. Half the people you know on there are like, "Well, called in sick today," and you're like, "Yeah, yeah, you did."
yeah, you did. It was a good night last night, you. Um, that actually brings me to one of the sayings a chef that I used to work with loved to say is my best employee is my worst employee if they're not here. So I guess point number one for being a good coworker is show up,
Yeah,
physically actually be there when you are needed to be. Being punctual is great too. That's always just a little
yeah.
bonus sticker if you're actually maybe even a few minutes before you need to be there.
Early is on time. On time is late. Your shift doesn't start at 4 o'clock. You should be on the floor at 4 o'clock.
Yep. Oh, geez. Well,
Yeah.
and then the nice thing with my graveyard shift then is I am waiting for that 8 o'clock person to come in, and it's 7:58, 7:59.
Fine.
Looking at the clock. 8 o'clock sharp. She walks through the door and is like, "All right, cool. You are here at 8, but also, I've been here since midnight, and it would be really keen if I could go home soon." But
And then you got to
yeah,
do the whole transfer thing where it's like, okay, this is what's going on. This is where we're at. I mean, you got another 10,
exactly
15 minutes to go over
right.
stuff for the next
I
shift.
mean, they still need to count their bank. I need to do my end of shift paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
as if they show up and it's an instant just pass the apron over and I'm out.
I mean,
But
and for everyone out there, when you ask your service industry friends when they're off, their answer is always going to be when we're done. There
yes,
is no time. It's just when you're done. When you're done working, when you're done doing your paperwork. I could be off at 11. I could be off at 2 in the morning. It just depends on when I'm done. I don't
the
know. I really don't know when I'm getting off at every shift.
exactly
Every single shift, I have no idea what time I'm clocking out.
right. The restaurant that I served at in Tennessee briefly before the pandemic, there were two people in the dining room who knew basically what time they were leaving, and those were the bartender and the closing server. Well, they knew at least they weren't getting out before 10.
Yeah.
Usually, like, they're the ones kind of most in control of when they can actually leave. Basically, everyone else, when service dies down, you get cut.
Yeah. Again, you could
Like,
be leaving at 8. You could be leaving at 10. You know, you could,
exactly.
if you're busy all the way through and it's a random Wednesday night, you're not getting off till 10. You're making more money,
Could
but
be
you're not
absolutely.
getting off.
It,
And in
it
that note, it's when you have the servers, like you said, who don't show up, or worse yet, want to shift off or decide they want to shift off that day. No one will cover them, so they just call in sick. And then you get bumped into their shift. Like, say they have the closing shift and you didn't. That's happened to me a lot. I had one coworker, she called in sick. Fine. No problem. Like, Nick, we're moving you into station one. You're closing tonight. And it's like, okay, I'm a good closer anyway. They like that. I don't mind it that much. She fucking shows up on a date and sits in my section. Besides, I'm just like, you called in sick, and now I'm waiting on you in your section that you
are
should be working.
are there no other restaurants in town?
Exactly. And I'm just looking at it like, are you fucking
From
kidding me?
here? I mean, that is such bad form.
Like, well, I refused to serve her,
Sure.
and three of the other servers did too because they all got moved up as well into later stations.
I would just be
Like, they had to. The manager's like, well, someone's got to take her, and like, no, we don't.
now. If 2 weeks ago you had said, "Hey, I'm going to need this Friday night off. It's a really important night, and I want to take blah blah blah, and it's going to be cool." Sure, if you have it
Yeah,
covered, no harm, no foul.
yeah, no
But
problem. But when
yeah,
you do it that day, and it's like, do you want to switch shift? Do you want to switch shifts? And it's like, aren't you just trying to get the day off? It's like, yeah, but no one will work my shift. And I'm like, no, I don't want to switch shifts.
exactly.
Like, this is one of the rare Fridays I don't have to close. I'm kind of
Well,
stoked about getting out before, midnight.
absolutely.
Nope.
Sure. And I mean, I also have certain feelings about actually, since you bring it up, eating and drinking in the restaurant that you work in. I go back and forth. Sometimes, absolutely sure, there's an open, seat, come on in.
Yeah.
On a busy night, absolutely. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah. No.
don't you, come back at 9:30 when we've slowed down.
Or
You know,
going at 5 before it
or
starts.
going at 5. Do not be that last table sitting. I
Yeah.
mean,
Don't camp
unless
all night. And
unless the whole thing is no, no, I will move so you can get your cleaning done.
yeah.
Ignore me. That's fine, but do not take up space when your coworkers want to go home.
Well, and in that same vein, a lot of places have, they call it the shower rule or whatever. When you're off, you don't stay and drink. You have to be gone for at least an hour and be out of uniform. Some state it better than others in their employee manual, but it basically, most places, like where I work now, we're not allowed to drink at all there. We come in and eat, but we can't. We're not allowed to have any alcoholic beverages whatsoever. And I'm like fine with that. I don't plan on ever going in and eating. It's a hotel. The food's good, but I eat it all the time while I'm there. It's like I don't have a hankering to go into most restaurants I've worked in to eat on my day off.
Because I work at the moment for a casino chain.
Uh-huh.
I can go to the one 3 blocks down, and as soon as I get off, I could go start drinking and
Yeah,
playing over there if I so chose. But nah,
yeah. I mean, it's not hard. Just go to the place next door, bother them.
exactly. Well, and really, some of the best bars I've been to are the ones. Well, Nick, I think you have some experience with this. Or some of the most fun experience I've had at bars is when the employees from several different restaurants all,
Meet
start
there.
showing up at the same time
Yep.
because we're all basically getting out about the same time. And it becomes that cool kind of, yeah, after work hangout. Even if it's just a drink or two, it's a good time.
Yeah, there was a bar in Salt Lake called Portical. It was the largest bar west of the Mississippi. It was 36,000 square feet. Of course, we're not counting the mega clubs in Vegas, but there was nothing bigger than this place. And every restaurant group in town met there. And if they didn't meet there, they met at Cheers to You, which was much smaller, but it was just all service industry. Like the pool table floor at Portical was just all service industry people and a bunch of lost locals and tourists going like, wow, all these people are in here in black pants and white shirts. It's really weird.
Yeah, right.
And
You
we're
know, I,
all arguing and all being very obnoxious and all talking shit the entire time.
oh, absolutely. Well, and
So much fun.
I was
It
really
was so much fun.
trying to think in Park City if there was a bar, but no, it was 5 or 6
Yeah.
bars that, you know, it would even be all right. You start down at the bottom
Hmm.
at Cabin or Lindsay's, whatever it was at
Yeah.
the time, and you kind of make your way up, or
You start at
I
the top.
suppose, or you start at the top and you come down. I suppose gravity assists you better in that one. Yeah.
Yeah. We'd have the same people in at Lindsay's every day. It'd be always the same restaurant people. And across the street at that bar, they had the same people in there, and like when one of them would get drunk and get kicked out, I'd get a text or a phone call, hey, John's had a bit too much. We've cut him off. He's heading your way. And I'm like, thank you. And vice versa. Just because it's a small town and you knew everybody. But yeah, there was that. I mean, it also depended on the night. Like when it was open, Cicero's was crushed every Thursday night with all locals, all restaurant people. But the rest of the week, they were, you know, not really going well. I mean, No Name always had people in there too. Like you said, Park City had a bunch of little spots that different restaurants
Yeah.
would go to, but not a lot of like a whole bunch of them wouldn't go to one place.
Well, and then there's definitely the oh shucks crowd.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially on Tuesday night when they have
Tuesday night, oh shucks, yeah. Because
their cheap schooners of PBR.
that was my break spot on Tuesday nights. They're like, "I'm going for a meal." I'm like, up, and I'm like, yeah, they got that burger deal at oh shucks, I guess I'll go there. Maybe have a
I never, maybe I'll try to find on the internet a visual for everyone else, but I've never eaten food out of that kitchen. I think we're just going to kick it to our first break right here, and we will be back to talk more about coworkers.